Hi.
Hi.
I totally blanked. Hi. Hey, strangers.
I was going to say, how do we start the show?
I don't know. I totally forgot. As always, I'm Kurt, and I am joined by she's exceptionally pretty today. I don't know what it is. Co-host, Krista.
Maybe it's you.
It might be. It's probably our discussion we were having in here.
Yeah, that could be it. We're not going to share that.
Yeah, we won't share that.
That's insider stuff.
That's
Patreon.
That's for our Patreon listeners.
Oh,
I feel like I'm totally off now
We're
because
discombobulated in general.
I didn't do Hey Strangers.
Yeah. Well, no, we got into the studio and like the door, like our couch was moved and the coffee table was, and I've been discombobulated ever since then.
Yeah,
somebody obviously
somebody
was in
had
here.
to come in here and they had our couch completely pushed away from the spare door that gets in here, and they didn't take any of our stuff. They could have tried our calamity canes if they wanted to try one of those.
That would deter them from ever coming in here.
Yeah.
I think it was the maintenance person.
I think so too. We're going to have to jump right into this because we have a lot of stuff to discuss. So
no dilly-dallying.
Weather, it's hot. Life, it is what it is. That's what we got going on.
Yeah.
Nothing super exciting.
As usual.
Yeah, we usually drag out like 10 minutes just talking about nothing. So before we do shout-outs, I just want to thank everyone for submitting their stories for the last episode. People loved that episode.
Totally.
People loved the stories. So thank you so much for that, going through the trouble to send us your stuff. We're still getting stories. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start using those in future episodes and stuff. So we want to give shout-outs to our newest strangers, which are Thorsten Marcus Grutzmacher.
Wow.
I know. Andrew Norman, who left us a really nice post in the group. David Bond, Jamie's brother.
What's up, David?
Hey, David. Liz Montoya Aponte and Michelle Brown.
Nice.
So thank you guys so much for joining the Strangers.
Welcome to the family.
And just a reminder, if you want to join the Strangers, answer the questions, please.
Don't use the most vague answer you can come up with.
Yeah, don't use vague answers. Like, use specific answers.
I enjoy mysteries. That's not going to cut it.
No, so answer the questions. Jumping into housekeeping, we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about. First, I want to give a shout out to Stranger Tiff, who moved all of our episodes to the archive.org website.
So cool.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
I actually go there. They're part of the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
Stuff
that's like not on the internet anymore. Well, it's hard to find or whatever.
I actually use it a lot for the trivia contests and stuff when we're doing that. So it's so good to have a backup there in case anything happens. So thank you so much for doing that,
Yeah,
Tiff.
that's very thoughtful.
Except in doing that, we found out that I screwed up the count, and our 50th episode was actually only our 49th.
I feel like that's classic us.
That's classic Strange Sessions.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So
not good with maths.
Because she said that, and I'm like, no, there's no way. So I'm going through them one by one, and I'm like, oh, crap. There is a way. Because we have a promo that we never actually used for anything because people said we sounded too...
robotic or whatever.
Not rehearsed. It was too rehearsed.
And
people prefer us being us.
Uh-huh.
So that's in there but never used, so I counted that as an episode. So
I see.
Our 49th.
The lost episode.
Yeah, that's our lost episode. So thank you so much for doing that, Tiff. Tiff is awesome. I talked to her quite a bit about stuff. She's really into some of this stuff that
Very cool.
I want to thank everybody who's been sending us taste test stuff.
Yeah.
Melissa, my friend Melissa, that's a stranger, has sent us a package I still have at home. So I think things stay on track like this. We should be good with taste tests the rest of the season.
It's a tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister.
A taste testing tongue twister.
So it should be good for the rest of the season. And I just want to give a thank you to Australian Carly, who sent me a package for my birthday, including like really awesome Australian cookies and a bigger tub of Vegemite. And I have become such a Vegemite addict. Wow. And I did not expect that. Like, I realized the other day that when I go to get it out of the cupboard and open it, my mouth literally starts watering.
Wow, you did fall for the Vegemite.
I did fall for it. And you put a lot of butter on toast and just a little bit of Vegemite, and it's just salty, yeasty goodness.
Well, you had me at butter, but...
I lost you with the salty and yeasty?
Well, I would try it again, but with less Vegemite.
Yeah. I think I put on more
it was too much.
Vegemite than I should. I think an Australian would shake their head at me that I put on too much. But
or
I do
they'd be like, yeah, he's one of us.
Yeah. Yep. What else do we have to talk about?
I was going to mention very briefly, nobody's going to notice, but my birthday's coming up, and my husband, Jim, and I rented a log cabin in the woods. We are checking out for several days. We're going to be up in Door County, and I'm not going to be monitoring the Facebook or the Instagram. So
Oh, man, so it's just all on me?
yeah. Yeah. So anything I post, I tag you in. So you'll just have to pay attention to comments and things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm going to be
That scares me a little
off
bit.
the grid a little bit. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I know. I'm excited for you guys to have your little getaway.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of getaways, in the last episode, I think it was the last episode, I talked about my little obsession with Route 66.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophie texted me, and she desperately wants you and Jim,
I'm in.
her and Adam, and me
Yes.
to rent a van
Oh my
or rent
God.
an RV and
Yes.
to travel Route 66.
That would be the most
from
amazing
Chicago
thing
to
ever.
Santa Monica Pier.
Oh, let's do it.
So she really
Let's
wants to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I think the logistics
I'm all
behind
in.
getting that to work.
Oh, we'll make it happen.
But yeah, you and Jim, her and Adam and me.
We could stop at little paranormal things.
That's
along
what
the way
she said.
Too.
That
oh
is
my
what
God.
she said. We could do little investigations along the way.
I'm just so unrationally excited about that. Irrationally excited. I just made up a word.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, she messaged me right away, and she's like, dude, she's
That's
like, I'm
so
obsessed with
amazing.
Route 66 too. We need to do this.
Well, we're down.
Yeah, totally down. And some synchronicities. I know I wanted to mention like a weird synchronicity I had this last week where I actually had two of them. One of them wasn't as big, but I got fast food from somewhere. I think it was Arby's. I've been hooked on roast beef sandwiches lately. I think it was Arby's. But
Hey, it's better than getting like, I don't know, a Big Mac or something.
yeah. And I pulled into a parking lot, Hobby Lobby parking lot, and ate.
Oh,
and
I
I
miss
was
Hobby Lobby.
as I was eating, I was listening. I had what was playing? The Scrubs podcast. Zach
About
and
the
Donald.
show?
Yeah, Zach and
Okay.
Donald do their own podcast.
Oh.
And they rewatch episodes and then talk about each episode.
Interesting.
And they didn't think that people were going to listen, but it's huge. Like everybody
that
loves
show
it.
had a cult. I never watched it,
Oh
but
my-
it had
so
a cult
Scrubs
following.
is one of my all-time favorite shows. That's right up there with MASH as far
Okay.
as
Wow.
favorite shows. But I was listening to it, and I was on my phone, and I was scrolling through the Strange Sessions Strangers page. And every now and then it said, if you want to promote a post, this is what it will look like. So I'm scrolling, and then one came up, and it was our Satanic Panic one. And the way they do that in the ad is it like comes at you, like a 3D effect with it coming at you. Mm-hmm. And the Dungeons and Dragons book was in the middle of that. And so the Dungeons and Dragons book was coming out of the screen at me. And I was like, that's actually kind of cool. And right when I was thinking that, one of them mentioned Dungeons and Dragons on the podcast, the exact moment I was thinking that. And that kind of like threw me for a loop.
That is not something that comes up in everyday conversation.
So that like really kind of surprised me. But another one I had, there was one day, again, it was the Scrubs podcast I was listening to again, but I was driving home. And I was listening to it, and they mentioned something about Quincy Jones.
Oh yeah, you texted
And I was
me
like,
this.
I don't really know who Quincy Jones is. Like
R&B.
I was thinking about that when they said that. I'm like,
His
I don't know.
Granddaughter,
Well,
Rhoda Jones. Okay,
so
you're getting to that.
I'm getting to that, Krista.
Sorry.
So
Parks and Rec.
yeah, and The Office. So I'm listening to that, and I'm like, God, I don't really know anything about Quincy Jones. So I get home, and Sophie has been, I don't want to say badgering me, but she's wanted me to watch The Office for years.
Well, you've
and
watched
I
the
didn't
British
want to watch
version,
The
right?
Office. I didn't want to watch the American version because
Okay.
I love the British version.
Yeah.
So I finally started watching the American version, and it is so amazingly good.
That's what I've
heard. It's a whole different world than the British one.
Yeah.
Because in the American one, you get to know like everybody that's in the office. In the British one, you really didn't. It just focused on the main characters.
Okay.
And it's not as painful as the British one, like awkward and embarrassing. But I'm watching it, and Jim is dating this girl. I think her name was Karen.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never
And
really watched
I was
it,
like,
but
this girl is so pretty. Mm-hmm. So when I got done watching the episode, I'm like, who is this girl? And it's Rashida Jones.
Rashida.
Quincy
I had the
Quincy
name wrong.
Jones's daughter.
Oh,
I
it's
think
his daughter or
daughter.
granddaughter? It could be daughter.
Let me look.
Google machine will tell us. Yeah, she's in Parks and Rec too.
Yeah, daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow.
She's really pretty.
So I thought that was weird that's Quincy
It
Jones.
is.
And this right after I get done looking that up on TV, there was some sitcom on, and they mentioned Quincy Jones, and I was like,
Which
what?
is not a name that
no.
comes up
And I was
very
like, what are
often.
the odds that this would have popped up
Yeah.
3 times? And I still don't really know who Quincy Jones is, but I was like, what are the odds that this would pop up 3 times in one day like that? And the weirdest one was the one where I just got done finding out that that's his daughter, and some sitcom on TV mentions Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
So that was just weird.
A lot of people have been having synchronicities. Yeah.
Yep. And I feel bad that some of them have the 1111 thing now ever since I've been harping on it. Now some of them are starting to experience it.
I still haven't seen it even once.
Okay. But
you
yeah, that's
apparently have no influence over me.
And what's weird is that this week there weren't any 1111s, but it's all this other stuff. Something else happened. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but it was one of those things where I was doing something and then I was listening to something that directly referred to what I was doing at the time. That's been happening like crazy this last week, so I don't know what that means.
Well, you and I mean, I think it's predictable that one of us is going to text the other saying, hey, 6:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the fact that we always go to do it at the same exact time
last
is
night,
weird.
I picked up my phone to text you. I'll be at the park and ride at 6:30.
And I texted
pick it
you
up, and then I
6:30 at the park and ride.
Yeah, I was like, wow. The moment I picked up my phone, you texted me.
Well, and I mean, I could have texted you at 7 o'clock in the morning yesterday, but the fact that I picked the same time you were going to text me is weird. Because we text each other throughout the day, so it's kind of odd.
So yeah, just lots of little synchronicities lately. And, we got to do, Krista gave me the look and pounded on her tarot.
Well, I tapped it, actually.
So we got to do a tarot reading.
Yeah, do you want to do that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got a couple packages to open.
Yeah, we have a lot of packages.
Now, what is this?
What's the question?
Yeah.
I always pull a card for myself every morning, like, what should I think about today? Nobody can hear me. I always pull a card in the morning, like, what should I focus on today, or what should I think about? So I already did that. So do you want me to do that for you?
Yeah.
What should Kurt be focusing on today?
What should I focus on today?
Okay, hold on. So you have to think about the question while you're shuffling.
Or tell me something about my life right now.
Yeah, that works too. I always shuffle 3 times. I don't know why. It's just my thing.
Nothing wrong with it.
I have been pulling the Fool card a ridiculous amount of times.
Because that's the one I pulled in the last episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, all the cards I've been pulling lately are extremely
You're going to die?
relevant. No, just relevant to like my life right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
But is it like horoscopes that are so vague that it's open to
No.
interpretation?
No, I don't think so. But you interpret the cards. I mean, they have a meaning behind them, but they also have several different meanings, and you have to kind of follow your gut on what you think it's telling you.
Yep.
So, all right. Ooh. Okay, hold on. It is the 5 of Wands. This is what it looks like. I'll take a picture of it.
Cool. Sticks.
Sticks.
So this is going to be the answer to how things are in my life right now.
Wands are usually a pretty good
Okay,
card.
good.
Cups,
I didn't look at
cups
it yet.
and wands. Okay.
I didn't look at it yet.
I'm just trying to get a picture.
Ready?
I'm ready.
5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is a card of conflict. You may find yourself scattered, distracted, tending to everything and nothing. Since Wands deal with our dreams and goals, it usually means this conflict resides within. Your energy moves outward in many directions, yet you are suffering inside. Wow, I kind of am. Take this card as a warning. Find ways to bring calm and focus to your mind, or these troubles will only increase.
I said it was a good card.
But that is very accurate to what is going on in my head right now. So calm. I need calm.
Yeah. What I like about it is that it's like an opportunity to change something.
Yeah.
That's how I always look at it.
Is very
relevant.
Yeah,
to you.
because I'm stressed about several things right now.
You're definitely in a state of like you don't know which direction things are
Exactly.
going to go.
I don't.
And so
that's.
I also feel like just today we're both really discombobulated.
I feel like the last couple podcasts we've mentioned that we're discombobulated.
But we both feel good, and
Yeah.
I don't know, we're just having a weird day, I guess.
Yeah, I actually
Here, you wanna hand me
feel
the book?
decent.
The book? How did it disappear in like...
Did I give it to you?
I don't... Oh my God. It's warm in here.
It is getting warm in here already.
God. The book was in front of me.
I'm looking around the
my
table. Did I
God.
drop it?
Okay.
You might be scattered and need a little focus.
I'm like so warm right now. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely a little
But that
scared.
card is 100% pertains to me right now
Yeah.
because I'm this week especially I'm going through like manic like days where I'm really happy and then days where I'm not real happy. But you know I have a potential new job, and
Yes.
I'm a little stressed about that because I don't know how that's going to go.
I'm excited for you.
I
think it'll be
long as we're
really
mentioning
good.
that, I want to apologize for this episode because I feel like I didn't get enough research in as I wanted to because I was gathering all sorts of info for my application for this job. And I was telling Krista I had some goof up yesterday with insurance that I spent all afternoon running around trying to figure out what was going on, and it turns out somebody
else's
made a
goof up?
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I apologize if this episode isn't as good as usual. But onto our packages. This first one we had...
We discovered it in our closet.
I think we brought it last time, so it's not like it's been in there a long
Probably.
time.
Hopefully.
But it's either SA or SA or SA.
I want to take a picture so I have the return address.
I don't
Because, someday we're
I
going
don't know if the name is SA or if it's initials SA. So we
SA.
are going to open it.
Oh, you gave it to me to open.
Yep.
I should know that by now.
If it's a taste test item, don't say what it is.
Okay.
Just put it back in there, and then we will use it next time because I have to bring Melissa's package next time too.
Okay. I'm going to try not to slice myself open.
Okay.
With this thing.
I was going to say, I hope it's not like one of these that are super hard to get open, but it's not.
Oh, I did better than I thought. Oh, it's not a taste test. It's an owl.
This is so cute.
Oh, they're like crocheted owls. Oh, there's so many cute things in here. I am so warm, I can hardly stand it. It's a kitty cat, little crocheted kitty cat.
Oh, they're
They're
so
magnets.
These are so cute.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. You want to read that? Oh, Tabasco. Okay.
We'll edit
I said it.
We'll edit that out, but we are going to have to try that next episode.
Oh, is this a little bracelet?
That's
Aww.
So you take an owl and the bracelet.
And you can have the owl and
Yep.
the kitty cat. Come on.
Do you want to
Somebody
read this?
handmade stuff for us? Sure.
Or should I?
You
read it because I talk more during the podcast.
Okay.
We do have a taste test item for next time, and I am just going to say I'm a little scared.
Okay. So there's like a story in here and everything.
Okay, awesome.
Dear Krista and Kurt.
Woo!
Kurt already loves it. I have never been interested in podcasts, but my friend in Tennessee loves them. When we talk on Skype, she began playing your podcast on her computer for us both to listen to while we hang out. Now I am addicted and I'm working my way through all your episodes.
Aw, that's
I don't
awesome.
have Facebook, but I do follow you on Twitter. Oh, nice. Someone follows us on Twitter.
Holy cow.
I
Thank
know
you.
Barry does because
Thank you.
Barry shares and likes our
Oh,
stuff.
nice.
Birdie Dog Breath, I think, is her handle on Twitter.
That sounds like it's
So
Barry.
Barry.
Yeah, that's Barry.
Oh, hi, Barry.
Love you, Barry.
I listened to your strange phone calls episode and it reminded me of one of my past jobs. I worked the front desk at lodging, hotel basically, on a military base. A few years before I was hired, there was a building that had belonged to lodging, building 4000, that had been knocked down. Did it sound like I said locked down?
Yeah.
But the phone lines had been left in the ground, I was told. Several times a day, the front desk would get a call from that building. We could tell because the number was a 4000 number, like 4132, 4248,
See, this already
etc.
creeps me out
Right,
because
you don't like phone
I don't
stuff.
like phone stuff.
Our phones at the front desk would list a room number if it was a guest calling. During the day, we just figured that traffic and construction on the base was causing the vibrations in the ground, disturbing the remaining phone lines, and caused the calls. But during the evening and night shifts, it was much spookier. The lobby was quieter, and usually we were alone. Traffic was very minimal, and the construction work had ended for the day. But then the calls came in a greater volume. Usually it was silence, but sometimes there was static and crackling sounds.
I don't like that.
Nope. Because what are you going to hear in that static?
Yeah, exactly.
If you spoke into the phone, your voice would echo back in a creepy and distorted way. Oh. Now the phone lines, in parentheses it says, for the gone building and the ones still standing, were set up so that the phones in the guest room could call the front desk or phone numbers, but weren't able to call other rooms. But most nights we would get a call from a guest or be told by a guest in the morning when they checked out that they got a strange call several times during the night. The phone rang, waking them up, but when they answered, all they could hear was static and sometimes what sounded like faraway sounds.
Yuck.
We had to explain that they were getting a call from a building that didn't exist anymore. I'm not sure I would tell anyone that, which either angered or spooked them since we couldn't do anything to stop it, she says. He or she? I don't know. For a while, I kept a log of which rooms were calling us, how often, times, and whether there was static or silence. But my coworkers that had been working there longer kept throwing out my list when I was busy. I'd be burning it. They claimed I was just asking for trouble or for something worse to happen. But the only worst thing that happened was a few times when I was working the evening shift alone. A few times the light in the women's bathroom in the lobby would flash and the toilet would flush. I was spooked the first few times, but after a while, I would just loudly say, "Thank you for remembering to flush," to whatever ghost had used the bathroom. The housekeepers loved to tell tales when we worked the weekend together, and no management was around to hound them to stay on task. They would tell me how in certain rooms, sometimes when they were cleaning or remaking the bed, that the shower would turn on by itself, or the sink. They would just chastise the ghost, telling them that they were busy and didn't have time for such nonsense, and it would stop. That's where I got the idea to thank the ghost for remembering to flush.
I love that.
Also, your episode on shadow people made me remember something. This started once I moved out and started living in an apartment alone. There are some nights where while I'm sleeping, I will wake up and there is a person standing beside my bed, leaning over slightly, looking at me.
Krista's doing her nope head shake.
But they're just a shadow. And my lamp is always on. It always startles me bad enough that I let out a yelp, scream of fright, which causes me to actually wake up. My room is dark, the lamp off, and no one is there. So in her dream, the light is on and someone's standing
That's
over
creepy.
her. Oh, man. I've always wondered why I dream of waking up from sleep to someone there, and if it's real or just a dream in a dream. Anyways, I just wanted to share my story with you, but I greatly enjoy your podcast and wish you a great summer.
Aw.
I hope you enjoy the chocolate and goodies I crocheted for you. Sweet and spicy is so great. Saw Mindy. Well,
Awesome.
that kind of gives away a little bit of what was in there,
Yeah.
but we're going to save that for next time
Yeah, we're
since
gonna
we have 2 taste tests we have
Yeah.
to get through today. But
Yeah.
this is amazing. We
Thank
got a
you
story.
so much. Thank you so much for the goodies.
And handmade.
Those
These are so
I know. Those are going to go on
cute.
my refrigerator as soon as I get home.
I'm dying right now. I'm actually going to put this bracelet on.
Thank you so much for this stuff.
And this is like, I could hang this on my Christmas tree.
I love owls.
You want to hand me your owl? I want to get it because it's different color. Well, they're just reversed. I got to get pictures of all this. Come on, people, sending us handmade stuff.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
We love
Seriously,
you.
we do.
My
We are going to travel the country and hug each and every one of you.
whether
on
you like it or not.
on our Route 66 travels.
Yes. My Bigfoot keychain is still like one of my favorite things in the world.
I love them.
So cute.
I want
think
the-
you should this one.
Yep. Thank you.
And here's your kitty cat.
Thank
That
you.
is the cutest thing
These are going
ever.
right on my fridge when I get home. So thank you so much for these.
Slip this over my hand.
This is awesome. You guys are the best.
Look at that. That is so cool.
No, we love you guys. I like when every now and then somebody posts, "Is this a cult? Are we in a cult?"
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
no.
you are. It's a cult. Kurt. I'm
I don't.
Just kidding.
I don't do drugs or have sex, so I'm
I
like
don't-
the anti-Charles Manson. I'm like the exact opposite of Charles Manson.
I don't think that that's a prerequisite for a
Having
cult,
sex,
though.
yeah. Every cult that I have ever
Been involved with.
no that I have ever
Read about.
if I ever been a member or a leader.
This is a new and improved cult where we love and support each other.
Yeah. No,
and
every
share spooky stories.
we need to do more cults because
Yeah, we
everybody
should.
loved your little doomsday
Oh,
cult
yeah.
one in your. But we got 2
Oh,
packages.
geez, I have more packages to open.
We got a package from Stephanie. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
I should stop piling stuff on top of these boxes.
We got packages from Stephanie and Coleman. So thank you both so much.
Who should I start with?
Coleman's, because I believe
'Cause it's
both
right in
of
front of
these
me.
have the same thing in
Yeah.
them, but it's something that you and I are going to need for a future episode.
Okay, just taking photos of addresses.
Yeah, because one day, it was funny because Coleman messaged me one day and asked if we wanted to borrow this. And I was like, yeah. And then right after that, Stephanie, my friend in Texas, messaged me that for my birthday, she got me this.
Okay.
And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
are you
yeah, yeah.
serious? So thank you so much, both of you.
Well, and isn't Coleman the one who said that he owns a business, and if we wanted to have some kind of sponsor, we should?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think he did.
Isn't that multi-tool nice?
Yeah. Hello. Do you hear me grunting at all?
Be careful
No.
cutting the top, though, because
Okay.
it's a... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I smell what you're cooking. Oh, did you see that?
That was slick.
Precision of
That was slick as
slice.
snot.
Oh, I didn't get through the tape though. I was so delicate, I didn't slice the tape, so it was a fail. Oh my god. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait. How many are there?
Oh, he put a couple other ones in there for us to borrow.
Yeah. Holy moly. Oh my god. I know what I'm doing for the next year. Oh my god.
We also still have those bunch of books that Jen sent us. So we have I have a little paranormal library at home. I think Coleman actually suggested that we do a book trade in the group.
I love
that
it.
We just send these books around because Jen sent me 5 or 6 paranormal themed books, like World's Biggest Mysteries and stuff like that. Yay.
That's a great idea.
What Coleman asked is if we wanted to borrow his copy of the very first Missing 411 book for
There's so
because
many
we're
good
going to do
books
an
here.
episode at the end of the season. And I was like, yeah, because I really wanted to read these books. So he sent us that. Krista is going to borrow this one and read this one.
Yeah. And the book we're talking about, did you say what it is?
Yeah,
Missing 411. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I was busy organizing.
She's taking pictures and
well,
organizing.
he sent us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different books.
Okay, and Jen sent us 6 or 7 different books. So I have a stack of
Dang.
paranormal themed books at home.
I'm just going to take a picture of the pile.
Okay.
But a lot of them are Bigfoot themed, so I'm in heaven right now.
That's all. That's your gig. That's your shtick.
My shtick. My obsession.
Your thing. Your white thing.
Still. Let's not forget about the squonk.
Oh, poor Squonky.
Is that what it's called?
I think it was a
Squonk?
squonk. It just cries all the time. I want
Yeah.
to pet Squonky.
Wow, this is amazing. I'm so excited to start paging through these. So we got to divvy up what we each want. And remember what belongs to who, though.
Yeah, we need to do that because, like I said, I have a bunch of books at home from Jen that we need to get this
We'll figure
book
this
trade
out.
going.
Good thing I'm taking pictures of well, thank you, Coleman. This is amazing.
Yes, thank you, Coleman.
I'm so excited. I feel like we have our own personal libraries.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have to stand up for this one.
I'll open this one.
Oh, okay.
It would be unfair.
Did you take a picture of, is there a return address?
I know Stephanie's.
Oh, okay, good.
No, and this is directly from the company.
Oh,
It's not
okay,
from
so that wouldn't
Stephanie.
help.
But I would feel like a jerk making you open all these packages.
You usually do, so I'm not calling you a jerk. This is so awesome.
I'm
I
excited
feel
for
like
this.
every time I come here, it's my birthday or something.
This one actually is for my birthday. Thank you, Stephanie.
There you go.
Because I didn't know what First Order was from, and the company is NABS LLC, and I was like, what is that? North American Bigfoot Society.
Oh.
They're the ones that sell the Missing 411
Oh, really?
books. Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, Jim left home.
There's a
My stalker app
stalking
just
her
told me
husband.
Jim left home. He's going grocery shopping, so I don't have to go.
Okay, this is annoying, opening these.
You feeling my pain right now? I didn't hear any grunting, so you're not working hard enough. There you go.
Do the Bigfoot grunt.
Oh, yeah. This is Kurt opening this.
Wow.
That box is really heavy.
I believe...
There are so many things in there. Whoa.
The entire set of
Oh
Missing
my
411 books. Wow.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Stephanie, thank you.
Dang.
I don't know what to
That's
say.
amazing. Happy birthday, Kurt.
Wow. Stephanie, I love you.
He's,
thank
like,
you
speechless right
Thank
now.
you so much.
That is so cool.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Missing
You've got the
411.
whole library. Now we're not going to run out of material for our Missing 411 episodes.
And I believe we have the Missing 411 map of the
We
United.
were just talking
We were
about
just talking
this.
about that. I think we got the Missing 411 map in here of all the places that people have disappeared from in the
That
country.
is so cool.
So, wow,
We have to
I
figure out what we're
honestly
gonna do with
don't.
that.
I did not expect this. I
No.
thought she was going to send us a copy of the book and something else. So,
That's
Stephanie,
crazy.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is awesome. We should be good now for Missing
Yeah, I think we're
411
good.
episodes. Wow.
That's amazing. We have the best listeners. You just made Kurt.
cannot
You should see the
believe-
smile on his
I
face
cannot
right
believe
now.
I have the entire set of
Aw.
Missing 411 books.
That's awesome.
Thank you
You
so
know how many
much.
people are jealous of you right now?
I know.
I know you'll loan them to me, so I can't be too jealous.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Thank you guys. Coleman
Yeah,
and
that's
Stephanie, thank
awesome.
you so much.
And Sa?
Yeah.
Sa Mindy?
I don't even know what to say.
I
You
know.
guys
This is
are
crazy.
amazing. I'm close to getting teary, so I'm not going to get
Aw,
teary.
you're so cute.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I did not expect this. I think this is the map. So we're going to have to put the map
Somewhere up here.
Dave Politis is.
Can we do one of those things where you have like string going in all different directions?
We wanted to do one. You and I need to come here one day and like redo.
We need to reorganize for sure. I need to get Jim to hang this.
But Dave
thing
Politis, like if anybody posts a picture of this map on the internet, he threatens to sue them. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is like a special thing that only he does.
Okay.
The map of where all these
We
people
won't
have
do that
disappeared
then.
from. No, but we'll put it up in here for us.
Yeah.
But wow, I still cannot
amazing.
believe she got me all the books. Stephanie, you are the best. When we do our Route 66 trip, we will definitely
We're
be
stopping
stopping
by.
in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Route
Amazing.
66 goes through Texas, doesn't it?
Does it?
I think
I
so.
have no idea.
We'll make a side trip for that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Stephanie. Wow, I am stunned. Don't even know what to say now. Thank you, guys. You
Yeah.
guys are the best. Okay, so we got to jump right into the main story, which is Nessie,
Nessie.
the Loch Ness Monster.
Sweet.
And again, I apologize. I didn't have quite enough time to do thorough research this week.
You just went to Wikipedia?
I just went to Wikipedia and made some stuff up.
Just printed the whole thing out. You're going to read it verbatim.
I feel bad because I do use Wikipedia a lot in these, but I try to say it's Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think we try to list all of our sources.
Yeah.
in our-
I'm turning my computer on because there's pictures we're going to be discussing. That these pictures will be posted in the Facebook group, The Strangers.
And probably I'll post them on Instagram too.
Yeah. But getting into it, we're starting. Ooh, I almost burped.
What?
I almost had a weird neck throat thing.
These books actually elicited a burp out of you.
Almost elicited a burp out of
Something
me.
Kurt's not capable of.
So we're going to start with Loch Ness itself. Loch Ness is a large, deep, freshwater loch in the Scottish Highlands, extending for approximately 23 miles or 37 kilometers southwest of the city of Inverness, Scotland. What is a loch?
A body of water, right?
It's a lake.
Oh,
It's
a lake?
basically a
Okay.
lake. Basically, loch is the Gaelic word for lake. And there are quite a few of these in Scotland. There are over 31,000 lochs in Scotland. I did not know that. That seems like a lot. Loch Ness contains 263 billion cubic feet of water, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's not the largest loch by surface area. That would be Loch Lomond. And it's not the deepest loch. That would be Loch Morar. But it is the largest body of water in all of the UK. It contains more water than all the lakes of England and Wales combined.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was that big.
No.
That's what she said. Loch Ness stays at a pretty constant temperature year-round of 43 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 degrees Celsius, never freezing even in winter. But that's cold.
Burr, though. Yeah.
It's very cold. Not a lot of people go swimming in the loch.
No. Probably diving, but not just leisurely swimming.
You know, compare it to Lake Michigan. From July to September, Lake Michigan water temperature doesn't drop below 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius. In autumn, it averages around 57 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 degrees Celsius. And in winter, it averages 39 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius. So even in autumn, it's warmer than Loch Ness. Loch Ness is really
all the
cold.
time.
I did not know that going
No.
into this. I assumed it was like a little lake that you can go swimming in, but no. It's chilly. The loch is also very dark and murky. Scotland gets a lot of rain, and the rain carries peat down from the hills surrounding the loch into the water, causing super poor visibility in the water. So you're not going to want to go swimming or diving in there because you can't see anything.
Right.
It's cold.
And there's potentially a huge monster.
Yeah,
living there.
it sounds pretty miserable. All of this sounds perfect for a creature like Nessie. Steady temperature, lots of area to swim, and poor visibility to help it remain unseen. Loch Ness also lies on the Great Glen fault line. There have been periodic earthquakes there, but only minor ones. And on the southeastern shore of Loch Ness is the Boleskine House, the home owned by infamous occultist Aleister Crowley, and later by musician and Aleister Crowley fan Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. Did you know that?
I did not know that he was
I knew that he had bought
Zepp-
Aleister Crowley's house.
Did not know that.
We should do an episode on Aleister
We
Crowley
should.
at some point because he was big with the
Fascinating.
sex magic
crazy,
and all
crazy
that
person.
stuff.
Yes.
Lastly, Nessie hunters have found over 100,000 of something in the loch. What do you think that is?
Say that again.
Lastly, Nessie hunters have found over 100,000 of something in the loch. What do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Golf balls. They suspect that it comes from years and years of people practicing their golfing drives on the
Sure.
shore of the loch. Some of the golf ball cores contain zinc, which can be poisonous to fish and plant life. Golf ball pollution is actually a thing that I did not know existed
No,
until
I
I
didn't
started
either.
researching this.
Well, isn't Scotland like a destination
Yeah, Scotland
for
is like a
golfing?
golfing.
Okay.
That's kind of where golf originated, I believe, if I remember Caddyshack correctly.
Okay. Judging by the outfits that the old school golfers wear,
Yeah,
that makes
it's-
sense.
yeah, they look very
the
Scottish.
Plaid and
Around 300 million golf balls are lost or just discarded on golf courses every year in the United States alone, which is kind of crazy to me.
There are people who make a side hustle.
Oh, yeah,
living collecting golf balls that have gone into the water trap.
I haven't golfed in years, but I used to love golfing. I was
yeah.
actually not horrible at it.
Same here. I haven't gone. I have my own clubs, and my husband always says, "Any club you give me, I'm gonna hit it 150 yards straight, no matter what it is." But I can't putt with crap.
I sucked at driving. I sucked at putting, but all the stuff
Anything
in
in
between,
between?
I was gold. At anything give me my 5-iron, and I loved golfing.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think
I live right next to a golf course.
I think I
and
talked about it on here,
we
but I
never go.
remember my buddy Tom, who listens to the podcast. Hey, Tom. I remember him and I walking off a golf course at 8:15 in the morning because we were too drunk to golf. Because we drank at his house in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
Day drinking.
it was a low point / high point in my life because I look
Right?
fondly back on that. When you're too drunk to golf at 8:15 in the morning,
You're having a good day.
yeah, you're having a good day.
Oh, that's probably only going to get worse at some point, but hey.
God,
That's hilarious.
I've calmed down a lot since
I
then.
see. How long ago was that?
15, 20 years ago.
Oh, dang. Yeah. I haven't been drunk in the morning in a long time. When we would go up to our friend's cabin up north, we would start with Bloody Marys at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Like we've talked
every
about it
day.
on here. I'm a day drinker. I like lunch,
It
a beer
is-
with lunch.
Yeah, getting a little buzz during the day
It's
and then
nice.
letting it wear off.
Yeah. Yep.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
But we digress.
So the first recorded sighting of some kind of strange creature in the loch happened way back in the year 565 AD by Saint Columba, the man credited with introducing Christianity to Scotland. Saint Columba was on his way to visit a Pictish king. The Picts were a group of people who lived in eastern and northern Scotland. On his way to meet the Pictish king, he came across some men bearing a body. The men told St. Columba that the man they were burying had been swimming in the Ness River when he had been grabbed by some sort of beast in the water that attacked him and pulled him under. They had quickly taken a boat out to try to save him, but the man was found floating already dead. St. Columba then sent one of his men to try swimming across the river, and as the man was swimming, some kind of creature could be seen swimming quickly towards him. Columba quickly ran up to the shore, made the sign of the cross, and yelled, quote, "Go no further, do not touch the man, go back at once." After yelling this to the creature, it said that the creature immediately stopped swimming after the man and then disappeared back down into the water. Everyone who witnessed this event said they had just seen a miracle. Hate to be the poor king's guy that he's like, yeah, why don't you swim across that and see what happens.
There's some commercials like that right now
Yeah.
that are really funny.
Yep. But yeah, this is like 565 AD is like the first recorded sighting of a monster in the Loch
In the
Ness
loch.
area.
Okay.
So going back to the Picts, and it's Picts, the Picts were known for creating very well done and very lifelike drawings on stones. All of the animals they've drawn are easily identifiable except for the one that's become known as the Pictish beast. It almost looks like a swimming elephant or a weird seahorse, and some people believe that the Pictish beast is a representation of the Loch Ness Monster. After that, there were sightings here and there, but since the loch was mostly secluded, not a lot of people were out there to notice anything. Then, the modern era of Nessie sightings started in 1933 when a road was completed that went along the shore of the loch. Instead of being secluded, the loch now was way more visible and had eyes on it at almost all the time. In May of 1933, an article ran in the local paper, the Inverness Courier. A local couple, the Mackays, were driving along the loch one day when they witnessed a huge creature in the water, calling it whale-like and saying that it surfaced and then, quote, disappeared in a boiling mass of foam.
We never did a taste. I'm looking at these.
I totally did. I totally blinked.
We never did a taste test.
Let's hold off on taste tests the next time because we're running kind of long. We are discombobulated. Ay, ay, ay. We completely skipped the taste test.
Should we open this
We can do this
window?
one that Nikki gave us because
Okay.
this is like easy, no frills one.
Okay.
I cannot believe that I totally blanked on taste test. I was wondering what you were
wrong with
motioning
us?
at me for when I was talking. This is so it's a train wreck.
Sorry for anyone who's just tuning in for the first time.
Yeah,
Usually
listen to
wait.
other episodes because we're usually not this.
Yeah, just stop right now.
Yeah,
and find
we're usually
another
not this
episode.
train wrecky.
I'm gonna try to open this window.
Okay. I couldn't figure out why you were like motioning at me and laughing. And then I totally.
Also, my arms are up in the air. Like, what the heck?
So we're gonna do a mid-podcast taste
Yeah.
test. This one is a super easy one. This one is like I said, a no frills. This was given to me by my friend Nikki when she came home a couple weeks ago. She got this for you.
Ooh. Yes.
It's a decal for your window that says "Believe" with
totally
a picture of
gonna do
Bigfoot
this.
on it. And for us to try, she got
I love this. Thank you.
that's so cool. And for us, she got dill pickle flavored cashews.
Oh, all right.
Which are going to be good because I love cashews.
Well, we just
We tried the
tested
dill
some-
pickle.
yeah. We
Those
both
peanuts were
those.
like the best peanuts. The D's nuts, those were so good.
D's nuts, yes.
Those were so good.
See, I would have missed out on this awesome decal.
Yeah.
I am so excited about that. I'm going to be that nerd that's driving around with the Bigfoot decal on their car.
I cannot believe we forgot the taste test. That's like the first time.
I know.
So
okay.
we can snack
Take a
on these
picture.
while we're recording.
Gosh.
These are dill pickle flavored cashews.
I shouldn't even be allowed to drive today.
They're going to be good. I seriously thought about bringing rum shada to put in my coffee too because I had kind of a week.
I feel like you don't need any
No.
rum
No.
We're both a little. All right, Shay. See, I like that they give you the little thing.
Yes, to tear.
I'll still struggle with it. Okay.
I feel bad. We're doing it right in the middle of the podcast.
I know.
Are they super dilly?
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly?
They smell good. I don't really smell the dill.
I love cashews.
I do too.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Oh,
Ooh.
those are good.
Mm-hmm. They're different from the other ones. The dill flavor is a little different.
The dill flavor is more bitter. Not bitter, but
It tastes like authentic dill.
it tastes like
though.
actual dill.
Yeah.
Not like what they want you to think dill pickles taste like. These are really good.
Yeah, these are very good.
Out of 10,
10.
9.
I'm good.
Oh my
Yum.
God.
Thank you for the
Thank
taste
you,
test. We
Nikki.
almost forgot.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you for the decal. I'm super pumped about that.
There's like a hint of something else in there.
There's actually a tiny bit of spice,
Yeah, there is.
a little bit of heat.
Not enough to
Offend you?
offend me. Anyway, back to the podcast. Where was I now? Blah, blah, blah. Nessie here. Go no further. Pictish Beast. In May of 1933, an article ran in the local paper, the Inverness Courier. A local couple, the McKays, were driving along the loch one day when they witnessed a huge creature in the water, causing it whale-like and saying that it surfaced and then, quote, disappeared in a boiling mass of foam. In a follow-up article, the McKays also said that they saw 2 black humps in the lake, which they believed was the creature. A few months later...
That's like the most classic sighting, right?
Yeah,
Is the
yep,
humps in
the
the
humps
lake.
in the
Okay.
lake. A few months later, another article about a sighting showed up in the paper. A man named George Spicer and his wife had been visiting the area when Spicer said that he almost collided with the creature when it was making its way back across the road with what looked like a sheep or a lamb in its mouth. Spicer called it, quote, the nearest approach to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I have ever seen in my life. He also said that it had a long neck which moved up and down in the manner of a scenic railway. It was a loathsome-looking grayish color like a dirty elephant, and that, quote, it looked like a huge snail with a long neck.
I have never heard of sightings of it crossing the road
No,
before.
and there's like 2 sightings of it crossing the road, one with a
That's
sheep
strange.
in its mouth. So
I've only heard of sightings of it
Yeah.
in the water.
then in November of 1933, the first purported photograph of the creature was taken. A man named Hugh Gray took a photo of what he believed to be the Loch Ness Monster. And you can go in the
Okay.
pictures and look at the Hugh Gray photo. It should be the first one.
You don't want me to review your resume?
Oh, is my resume on there?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Fun.
You
Okay.
can if you want.
Well, it's too late. You already sent it out.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for this to open.
This is the Hugh Gray photo. It's, I think, the first photo.
It's weird. It looks like a whale.
I don't know what it looks like.
Okay.
We'll get to that, though. We'll talk about that.
Dang it. You just curted me.
I did. We'll get that towards the end when we kind of go over the photos.
Okay.
But that is like one of the first known photos of the Loch Ness, supposed Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
Hugh Gray said, quote, 4 Sundays ago after church, I went for my usual walk near where the river enters the loch. The loch was like a mill pond and the sun shining brightly. An object of considerable dimensions rose out of the water not very far from where I was. I immediately got my camera ready and snapped the object, which was 2 or 3 feet above the surface of the water. I did not see any head. For what I took to be the front parts were under the water, but there was considerable movement from what seemed to be the tail, the part furthest from me. The object only appeared for a few minutes and then sank out of sight. So by this time, Loch Ness Monster mania was pretty much in full swing. Like the 30s were like the big decade for Loch Ness Monster sightings. People would drive the road along the loch just hoping to spot a glimpse of the creature. Hunters and troops of Boy Scouts would camp out along the loch hoping to catch or to even see the creature. And a British circus offered a reward of £20,000 to anyone who could capture the creature. They wanted to have the creature in the circus.
How are you going to... Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not going to try to figure that one out.
I don't know. In January of 1934, a man named Arthur Grant was driving his motorcycle near the loch around 1 o'clock a.m. when he claimed to almost run into the creature on the road. He was a veterinary student, and he described the creature as having a small head attached to a long neck and that it looked like a cross between a seal and a plesiosaur, or plesiosaur. I think it's plesiosaur. Then, on April 21st, 1934... the Daily Mail published what's known as the surgeon's photograph. This is the one that's our teaser picture. This is the one everybody, when they think of Loch Ness Monster, they think of this picture.
Looks like Dino the dinosaur from...
It was known as the surgeon's photograph because the person who brought the photos in didn't want his identity known, but it later came out that it was Robert Kenneth Wilson, a gynecologist from London.
I'm guessing that as a doctor... you're very respected in your community, and releasing a photo of a monster in a lake is probably...
That was one of the... we'll get to that. I just curted myself. We'll get to that towards the end. There's stuff about this picture. Okay. Which you probably already know.
We'll see. I've never really delved into the whole Nessie thing all that much.
And that's the thing is that when we decided to do this one, like, I don't get super excited about things that I'm not interested in.
Right.
I've never been like a big loch...
Me neither.
You know, this is like Bigfoot where it's like, eh... And I know, oh, did I just get a dirty look? I got such a dirty look from her. But it's just one of those things that it's cool, but I just never really... Yeah. And there's not a whole ton about it, really. I kind of thought there would be more about it, but there's really not a whole lot. But the surgeon's photo is like one of the ones that's the most well-known photos.
Was that your stomach growling?
No, that was me making a sound.
I can't hear over the alleged air conditioning that's running right now because I sure don't feel any air conditioning right now.
So Robert Kenneth Wilson, the gynecologist who brought the photo in, said that he was looking at the loch one day when the creature came to the surface, so he grabbed his camera and took some photos. For over 50 years after it was taken, this photo was said to be proof that the creature existed, even though some people debated the photo, saying that the ripples didn't look quite right for a creature that size, etc. We'll get to that. In 1954, the fishing boat, the Rival 3, was out in the loch, and its sonar pinged on a huge object under the water that was keeping pace with the ship. After 2,000 feet of following the ship, the signal disappeared. Then on July 29th, 1955, Peter McNabb was at Urquhart Castle when he saw something and took a photo. And this is the Urquhart photo. This is like one of the other big known photos from the... So this is another one of the famous photos of the Loch Ness Monster. In Nicholas Witchell's Loch Ness story, published in 1974, McNabb is quoted as saying, quote, I was returning from a holiday in the north with my son and pulled the car up on the road just above Urquhart Castle. It was a calm, warm, hazy afternoon. I was all ready to take a shot of the castle when my attention was held by a movement in the calm water over to the left. Naturally, I thought of the monster and hurriedly changed over the standard lens of my camera to the 6-inch telephoto lens. As I was doing so, a quick glance showed that some black or dark enormous water creature was cruising on the surface. Without a tripod and in a great hurry, I took the shot. I also took a very quick shot with another camera, a fixed focus Kodak, before the creature submerged. My son was busy under the bonnet of the car at the time, and when he looked in response to my shouts, there were just ripples on the water. Several cars and a bus stopped, but they could see nothing and listened to my description with patent disbelief. He showed this photo to his friends, but his friends basically ridiculed him. So he put the photo away and didn't want anything to do with it. But then 3 years later, he decided to release the photo as more photos of the creature started coming out. But that's the
I've seen it before.
Yeah, that's the McNabb photo. That's another one of the famous photos.
Okay.
In May of 1977, magician and psychic Anthony Shields claimed that he used his powers to summon the creature from the loch and snapped a picture of it. So
It looks like an inflatable pool toy.
exactly. I only included
It's
that.
smiling.
I only included that one because it's funny and cute.
Oh my goodness.
But that comes up. It's called. People refer to that as the Loch Ness Muppet because they said it looks like.
Looks
So I
about
included that one just because I thought it was ridiculous
Funny.
and cute.
It's kind of cute.
In May of 2007, laboratory technician Gordon Holmes videotaped what he described as a, quote, jet black thing about 14 meters or 46 feet long, moving fairly fast in the water. In August 2012, boat skipper George Edwards claimed that a photo he took a year earlier shows the creature. A lifelong Nessie enthusiast, Edwards searched for the monster for 26 years from his boat, the Nessie Hunter 4. On April 19th, 2014, it was reported that a satellite image on Apple Maps showed what appeared to be a large creature thought by some to be the Loch Ness Monster just below the surface of Loch Ness. That picture's in there. You should be able to see that.
So which one is it? What is it
Apple
called?
Maps.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a shark.
At
like an aerial view of a shark.
At the loch's far northern end, the image appeared about 30 meters or 90 feet long.
I mean,
So those are the
that's pretty
images.
big.
Those are some of the images that I put in here. We're going to be coming back to those, so
Okay.
keep them handy.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, there have been tons of attempts to find Nessie. Right from the start, in July of 1934, Edward Mountain, the founder of one of the largest insurance companies in the UK, financed a search. 20 men with binoculars and cameras positioned themselves around the loch from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. for 5 weeks. 21 photographs and 1 bit of film were taken, but none were considered conclusive. The film has been lost to time, but most who saw it believe that the creature was a seal. In 1962, the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau was formed to study the loch and to catch evidence of the creature. It ran for 10 years. It also involved positioning people at vantage points around the loch. Some of the most thorough investigations were done by a man named Robert Rhines. The first one took place in 1972. Using sonar and underwater cameras, an examination was done of the loch. Specialists were on hand from Raytheon, Simrad Hydroacoustics, and researchers from MIT and MIT's Department of Ocean Engineering.
Wow.
So they weren't fooling around. I mean, this was like a cast of
Yeah.
characters that you would want out there
Totally.
when you're doing this. So I was kind of impressed with that.
Weren't it? Wasn't
Weren't it?
Wasn't it people from MIT who I feel debunked the Paulding light?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why I think this was done so well, because
Yeah.
he had people there that would specifically debunk or know what this thing is.
The best in their field, too,
Yeah.
to be able to figure that
Yep.
out.
So they weren't fooling around with this. One of the famous images they caught is believed to be one of the creature's flippers. It should be the flipper
Yep.
flipper photo.
Yep. I mean, it definitely looks like a flipper.
A second investigation done in 1975 caught a photo that many people feel shows the creature itself, and that should be your photo, the photo of the body.
Ryan's creature
Yeah.
photo. Well, it's like underwater though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's an interesting photo.
Yeah. It is interesting. It looks like a giraffe.
It does kind of. It looks like some like a giraffe. It looks like a
swimming giraffe.
plesiosaur would look. Additional investigations by Rhines and his team were also held in 2001 and 2008. So he's been doing this a while. I think he passed away, if I'm not wrong.
I did watch a documentary on Nessie, and there was a man who like lives there.
Yeah.
And basically watches.
We might get to him in a
Okay.
little bit, actually, because I read that and I was like, wow. In 1987, Operation Deep Scan took place. 24 boats equipped with echo sounding equipment were deployed across the width of the loch and sent acoustic waves out in an attempt to map what was under the water. According to BBC News, the scientists believed that they had made sonar contact with an unidentified object of unusual size and strength. Some researchers believed that what they were seeing were seals, while others thought that it could indeed be Nessie. Sonar expert Daryl Lawrence looked at the results and is quoted as saying, quote, "There's something here that we don't understand, and there's something here that's larger than a fish. Maybe some species that hasn't been detected before. I don't know." Then in 2018, a DNA survey was taken of the loch. The research team took over 200 1-liter samples of water from throughout the loch, including both surface water and deep water, and compared those samples with over 35 samples from 5 normal lochs nearby. The study detected over 500 individual orgasms. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. The study detected over 500 individual organisms and over 3,000 species, including badgers, deer, sheep, rabbits, several different birds, cattle, dogs, and humans, but there were absolutely no traces of reptilian DNA sequences found. And people assumed that if Nessie existed, it would be a reptilian creature. So there were absolutely no traces of reptilian DNA.
I guess that's assuming it's a reptilian in nature.
In January of this year, 2020, Steve Feltham, who was recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest continuous monster hunting vigil of Loch Ness,
I'm guessing this is the guy.
searched for a continuous 10,397 days.
Wow.
But I'm assuming that that's just going out and looking at the loch and be like, yep, I looked today. You know?
Well, I think he if this is the same guy, he actually lives in a little structure that's right on the loch, and he's literally there every day. He's retired, I think.
Yes, but the Guinness record for 10,397 days of searching for Nessie.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess you could spend 5 minutes of your day.
Yeah, because you're doing
the rest
it.
Of your day is,
go out there and have your coffee in the morning and look over the loch. I suppose that's searching.
That's a consecutive day.
But that's still 10,397 days.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
How many years is that?
I think like 28 or 29 years.
Dang.
So it's a long time that he's been doing this.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's ever seen.
I was going to say, how many actual sightings has he had?
If anybody sees this creature, I hope to God it's him because he deserves it.
He's put in the time, man.
Yeah. But that's really what I have. And now we got 2 theories.
Okay.
Of course. Theory number 1, the Loch Ness Monster exists or existed. Sub-theory for that one, witnesses. A lot of people have seen something. You know, I don't know what I think about these accounts of seeing the creature waddle across the road.
I mean, are there seals in the area?
There are seals, there are otters. A lot of people think that
they do go on land and waddle around.
But you're not going to see a seal with a sheep in its mouth.
Well, why would it be crossing the road?
Seals, I'm assuming, are going to cross the road.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about seals and their habitat, but usually they're either in the water or like sunbathing on some rocks.
They're so cute when they're just laying on the rocks. But how can you...
I don't know.
It's got to be a big-ass seal if you're going to confuse it with the Loch Ness Monster when it's crossing the road.
That's where I'm running into some trouble with that theory.
You know, so I don't know. But there have been a lot of witnesses that have reported, a lot of people see...
I feel like whatever's crossing the road is different from whatever people are seeing in the water.
A lot of people see, like, ripples that weren't there a second ago, bubbles. They see these kinds of things that make them think that there is something in the water. There's a lot of people, and you have to figure how many people see something but don't say anything about it.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a Loch Ness Monster kook.
Right, but I also just feel like bubbles doesn't mean anything.
No, exactly. And we'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so a lot of people have witnessed things, but we don't have a grasp on exactly how many people have witnessed things.
Right.
Or what they witnessed.
And how many people are misidentifying normal, natural stuff.
Yeah. According to an article on the UK TV website yesterday called, quote, "Could the Loch Ness Monster actually exist?" The article says, quote, "While some stories have been fabrications and hoaxes, the sheer variety of testimonies has to be taken into account. One prominent local, Willie Cameron, says, I know 4 people who genuinely believe that they have seen the creature, but they would not speak about it for fear of ridicule. My late father saw something unexplainable in 1965. 9 other people saw it the same time as him." So
I put more stock into the people who won't talk about it than the people who
because the people that want some kind of fame from saying that they saw it. According to a July 1st, 2012 article in the Daily Record called, quote, "Veteran Loch Ness Monster Hunter Gives Up," about Robert Rhine's final Nessie hunt, the article says, quote, "As he prepares for his last hunt, Robert says, 'What am I to do? Forget what I saw? There are a lot of eyewitness accounts. Are they all liars? Are they all drunk? I don't believe human nature is like that.'"
I do like the idea that they're all drunk, though.
Oh, I do too.
It is Scotland.
That would be a Wisconsin. That would be a Wisconsin lake creature. What disturbs me as a lawyer is that we prove cases by eyewitness testimony. The human brain is not 100% accurate, but it's not 0% either, which I agree with.
Right.
That's like
There's somewhere in
that's
the
like
middle.
the thousands of people that see UFOs
Right.
in a given
They
time.
can't all be-
If there's one account that is genuinely a UFO,
That's significant.
That's significant.
Yeah.
So all these people that saw this monster, if one of them did see something unidentifiable like that, it's a thing. It exists. So I get that. We talk a lot on here about how the human brain is not 100% accurate in
or reliable.
identifying
right.
Bigfoot sightings and identifying
or
this
even
and
somebody
that.
who robbed them.
Yeah. Yep. I know I come back to this all the time, but I was floored by that. I think it was on the Discovery Channel where they were showing, I don't remember what the show was called, but it was a really good show. This episode was showing how we don't pay attention as much as we think we do. And that's the one that had the guy go into like a post office type area to get a package. So the guy went in and talked to the person behind the counter, and the person behind the counter said, yep, it's right down here, duck down. And then somebody else, completely different, came up with the package, and nobody caught
noticed?
that. Nobody noticed. Nobody
I would
said,
notice
nobody
that.
blinked. Nobody said a word, that it was a completely different person. And then that makes me wonder, would I notice?
I would notice.
I don't know if you would or not.
But I'm somebody, when I'm about to talk to somebody, I observe all kinds of things about them.
Yeah.
I'm looking at eye color.
Yeah.
I'm looking at haircut. It's just how I am.
Yeah. But if you like go into a post office, you're not going to be like focusing. I'm not saying you because you
Right, I can see how
But I'm saying the
obviously
majority
it
of people,
happens.
if they go into
Yeah.
a post office, they're going to have their mind elsewhere, and they're not going to be
Right.
paying attention to the person. But it was like a completely different hair color, a completely different person popped up with the package.
How many of them do you think noticed and
I don't know.
were afraid to say anything?
know.
Because what do you do?
I don't know.
Like, what would you even say?
I don't know. I'd be like,
I think I'd be standing there with this look on my
yeah,
face, like, what?
I think I would too.
Like, what just happened?
So yeah, we talk a lot on here about how eyewitness testimony is so inaccurate, but it is not.
Infallible.
In fact,
No,
it is
that's
not.
the
It
word
is
I'm
not
looking for.
0% accurate.
Right.
Gary Campbell, keeper of a register of Nessie sightings, receives on average 10 reports a year of something unexplained being spotted in the loch's water, and a lot of the sonar sweeps of the loch have shown traces of what seems to be a large creature. So these kind of witnesses, these witnessing events, kind of lend to the possibility that something does exist.
Yeah. 10 a year actually is not as much as I thought.
Yep. Subtheory B, it did exist but has since died. A lot of people, including Robert Rines, thinks that global warming could have changed the temperature of the loch enough that this creature wasn't able to survive in the water anymore.
Well, and what kind of a lifespan would it have anyway?
Exactly. And
When was the first sighting? First recorded sighting?
The 535 AD or something like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it didn't live that
Yeah.
long.
And we'll get to that when we talk about reasons why it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But it, that's why I think it surprised me that the loch's temperature stays constant. So that lends credibility to the fact that if something needed that temperature to survive, the fact that it stays that way year round at that specific temperature.
Has it slowly gone up over the years, though?
I don't know. I believe so, but this Robert Rines, that's kind of like the guy that knows all this stuff, says that he believes that global warming changed the temperature of the water enough that it killed whatever was in there. Mm-hmm. And subtheory C, it's not unheard of to discover new creatures or creatures that were thought to be extinct.
Especially in water.
Yeah, that
Especially
happens
in
quite a
large
bit.
bodies of water.
From that UK TV article I mentioned on the Yesterday website, quote, "It would be the height of arrogance to discount the circumstantial evidence and the possibility of things yet to be discovered. Remember, back in 1938, coelacanths, an order of fish, were discovered near South Africa 66 million years after they were believed to have gone extinct. Nature has a way of shocking us."
I understand that, but the sheer size that this thing is supposed to be...
Yeah, there's a difference between a coelacanth,
And
a small
some fish.
and this beast.
Right.
And assume that it's a creature thought to be extinct, usually a plesiosaur. Not actually a dinosaur, but it's rather a large swimming reptile. It's believed that all plesiosaurs became extinct as a result of the KT event at the end of the Cretaceous period, approximately 66 million years ago.
Did you show me a picture of this thing? Plesiosaur?
No, but I can.
Okay.
I'll pull one up on my phone. The KT event is believed to have been an asteroid hitting the Earth that caused the dinosaurs and other creatures to die off.
Okay.
The KT event stuff is actually, I kind of went on a tangent of looking up the stuff about the event that is believed to have wiped out the dinosaurs and all that, and that was actually pretty interesting. This is a plesiosaur.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, even the fins, the long neck with the small head.
Because that looks like
Wow.
what is it? That flipper looks like what's in the flipper photo.
Totally.
And that body
flipper,
kind
that's
of
what I
looks
meant to
like
say.
what's in the body photo.
Yeah,
but that is what they believed the Loch Ness Monster to be, was a plesiosaur type creature.
Okay.
And assume it's a creature thought to be extinct. Usually a plesiosaur, not actually a dinosaur, but it's rather a large swimming reptile. It's believed that they all became extinct after the KT event killed off all the dinosaurs. According to an article on the IFL Science website called, quote, "Why Are We Still Searching for the Loch Ness Monster?" The article says, quote, "Some scientists argue that a giant aquatic reptile would have a hard time surviving in the frigid waters of the Scottish Lake. But sea turtles are large reptiles as well, and they can thrive in the cold waters off the coast of Iceland and Alaska."
And they live a really long time, don't they?
Yep. A study by French scientist Aurélien Bernard and his colleagues, published in Science magazine in 2010, examined the oxygen isotopes extracted from the fossil bones of plesiosaurs. The isotope showed that these animals were likely capable of adjusting their body temperatures or being endothermic, and were thus therefore capable of surviving in relatively cold waters. However, unless Nessie is a fish, it would need to surface regularly in order to breathe, and so its apparitions would be fairly frequent, but they are not. Such discrepancy could be explained by the peculiar body shape of the creature, looking similar to a plesiosaur. The small head located at the end of a long neck would make it easy to conceal the body in the murky waters, while only its nostrils break the surface for a few gulps of air. Which I could totally understand.
Yeah.
And that could be what people see as ripples, is this thing sticking its nose up to breathe and then going back down. So they're saying it's possible that this thing exists. Theory number 2, Loch Ness Monster does not exist. Subtheory A, mistaken identity. According to the awesomely titled article, quote, "Big Meanies Use Science to Debunk the Loch Ness Monster Myth," on the Next Web website, the article says, quote, "If Nessie doesn't exist, why do eyewitness accounts of the Loch Ness Monster persist? The answer is likely to be a psychological phenomenon called expectant attention. This happens when people who expect or want to see something are more likely to misinterpret visual clues as a thing that they expect or want to see."
Sure.
So if you're looking and all of a sudden you see bubbles pop to the surface, you're like, that's the monster. There's the Loch
Right.
Ness Monster. That's expectant attention. The Apple Maps photo is an example of this. The Apple Maps photo is just kind of obviously a ship.
Oh, I thought it looked like a shark from above.
It's
or
kind of obviously
something.
a ship. And
Yeah, I can
the
see
main
that
body
too.
of the ship is vague and hazy, possibly because of image stitching or something like that, but it's there. Other people have posted side-by-side photos of ships traveling in the water, and it makes the same exact pattern off the side.
Yeah, it's the wake.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
making
it's the
wake.
making the wake off the side, and it's the exact same pattern. So the Apple Maps photo is a ship. It's
Yeah.
obviously a ship, but people that want to see it as a sea monster see it as a sea monster because it kind of looks like one. I mean, I get where there's what they're saying.
Yeah.
The Rhine's full body photo of the creature, most people believe that it's actually just a submerged log. And I could see that too. Because they
Totally.
say that like where the chest is, there's like a bump coming off that shouldn't, there's like a bump or something around where its chest or neck is that they
Okay.
say shouldn't be there, and that it makes it look like that's a log under the water.
I think that's what most sightings probably are.
Yeah,
Is a log.
So I totally, but it looks like a sea. If you look at that picture, it looks like a sea monster.
It's like a giraffe.
It looks like a giraffe or a plesiosaur
swimming
under the water.
Totally. It does.
But it also, I can also see where it's
It's a
just a
log.
log
Yeah.
underneath the water. Mental Floss had an article about proposed explanations for Nessie sightings, and one that I thought was interesting is that some of the sightings could possibly be reflections of the mountains along the loch. If you look at waves in the water, the top of the mountains are, like a wavy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at a mountain range, the top.
Yeah.
And if it's reflecting in the water with the
It can
sunlight,
look like
it's going to
waves.
look like a wavy
Yeah.
pattern in the water.
Right.
And they believe that some of what people are seeing are just reflections of the mountains in the water, which I totally could understand
Yeah.
that too.
Not something I would have thought of.
Yeah,
but
they
that
had a
makes
picture of
sense.
like the mountains that line it, and it's like, like a mountain range is uneven like that and looks like a wavy pattern, and if that's reflecting on the water, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Also, like we said at the start of the episode, the loch is on a fault line. Small micro tremors do happen, and with the shifting ground, bubbles are released to the surface, which could also lead to potential sightings. So the bubbles that a lot of people see could be due to small earthquakes.
Or just anything
Yeah, or
living under the
anything.
water.
Subtheory B, mistaken creature identity. And the one that constantly pops up is eels.
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 Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of eels in the loch.
Big, though?
That's the thing. The DNA test we discussed earlier resulted in a lot of eel DNA. Anyone who has spent time on the loch knows that there are tons of eels there. Is it possible that Nessie was just an abnormally large eel? According to a September 5th, 2019 article in USA Today, quote, researchers found a large amount of eel DNA along with other common creatures including humans, dog, etc. Although this data can't determine the size of the eels living in the loch, it's worth noting that the largest known European eel was 4 feet long and weighed almost 12 pounds. Lead scientist Neil Gamel says, quote, that doesn't sound like a monster, does it? But based on the evidence we accumulated, we can't exclude it as a possibility. Elephants were also often named as being mistaken for the creature. It's believed that traveling circuses would sometimes let their elephants swim in the loch to cool off, and that their trunks protruding from the water were mistaken for the creature, and the elephant's back, you would see the trunk, and you would see like a wave where the elephant's trunk and then the back of the elephant. And they believe that back in the 30s that traveling circuses would let their elephants go in the loch.
You think you'd notice an elephant swimming around?
Not if you were predispositioned to think that there's some kind of monster in the loch.
See what you want to see.
Yeah.
Also, I want to see an elephant swimming around.
I know.
I love elephants.
Also, seals and otters are constantly being called out as being what people are seeing. If we go back to that first photo of the creature, the Hugh Gray photo, Wikipedia says, quote, Gray had taken his Labrador for a walk that day, and it's suspected that the photograph depicts his dog fetching a stick from the loch. Others have suggested that the photograph depicts an otter or swan. That's the very first one that I showed you. That is the Gray.
Okay. It's not a very clear photo.
No.
It almost looks like a boat that's overturned or something.
The original negative to that photo was lost. However, in 1963, Maurice Burton came into possession of 2 lantern slides containing positives from the original negative. And when projected onto a screen, it revealed, quote, an otter rolling at the surface in characteristic otter fashion.
There you go.
So that first one could very well be an otter playing on the top of the water. Subtheory B, and this is a big one, is hoax.
That's a very long-standing hoax, though.
Yeah. And subtheory for the subtheory is unintentional hoax. And included in that is the Robert Rhines flipper photo. Wikipedia says, quote, according to team member Charles Wyckoff, the photos were retouched to superimpose the flipper. The original enhancement showed a considerably less distinct object. No one is sure how the originals were altered. During a meeting with Tony Harmsworth and Adrian Shrine at the Loch Ness Center and exhibition, Rhines admitted that the flipper photo may indeed have been retouched by a magazine editor. So then that kind of blows because that's like a good-looking flipper photo.
It almost looks like an X-ray.
Yeah. But if they, like now how we can mess with contrast and mess with stuff.
Yeah.
They probably did that back then. So what we are looking at is not the original photo that they saw of the flipper, which sucks because we don't know how clear the flipper was on the actual photo. So now we get into actual hoaxes. And the big one for this is the surgeon's photo. The one that everybody associates with the monster. A man named Christopher Sperling verified this photograph as a hoax. Sperling was the stepson of a man named Marmaduke Wetherell.
Marmaduke?
Come
on.
Marmaduke Wetherell, who was a world-renowned big game hunter that had been hired in 1933 by the Daily Mail to find the Loch Ness Monster. He finally came back from his hunt with evidence of enormous footprints that had been found going from the shore of the lake into the water.
Footprints?
Yes. When the evidence was presented, researchers from the Natural History Museum concluded that the tracks had been made with a dried hippopotamus foot, which was apparently being used at the time as umbrella stands. At the time, you were using hippopotamus feet as umbrella stands.
Poor hippos.
So somebody had these. They don't know if Wetherell is the one that went out there and faked these
like a
footprints,
Bigfoot
or if
thing.
somebody else faked them and then he found them.
Okay.
When that article ran in the Daily Mail, it was basically ridiculing Wetherill for falling for these
Right.
footprints.
Hoax.
Wetherill felt like an idiot and retreated from public view. Deciding he wanted revenge on the Daily Mail for making him look dumb, he asked Sperling for his help to create a model of the monster's neck and place it on a toy submarine. So a toy submarine was bought at Woolworths, and a head and neck were made from wood putty. The device was taken out to the loch and photographed. A friend of theirs, Robert Kenneth Wilson, was chosen to give the photograph to the media because of his trusted reputation as a doctor and his love of practical jokes. So for years, this was the image of the Loch Ness Monster. But when you do searches on this, the photo is always cropped and zoomed in, making the creature size hard to determine and making
Yeah.
it look huge.
That's true.
If you look at the actual photo, which I think I have as the last photo in there,
Oh, yeah.
you can see a little bit.
Tiny.
You can see a little bit of the shore in the background, and where
Yeah.
before it looked like some kind of huge creature, it looks like a toy in the water.
Yeah.
So everybody cropped this out and cropped the shore out in order to make this thing look more like the monster it's supposed to be. There have been some discrepancies in this story, which has cast doubt on Sperling's story, but for the most part, this has pretty much been confirmed as a hoax. It actually came up first as a hoax in 1975, but it didn't get a lot of coverage and it was kind of swept under the rug. But a 1999 book about the hoax called Nessie, the Surgeon's Photo Exposed by David S. Martin really cemented it as a fake. So it sucks because, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember seeing that photo on In Search Of, and that was always like the photo of the creature, but it turns out it's just a toy submarine with a clay head attached
And I
to
love
it.
then somebody else hoaxed the hoax. The
Yeah.
Anthony Shields photo.
Yeah.
Did you know he was
I love
hoaxing
I'm
a
not even
hoax?
going to talk about the Anthony Shields photo. It looks like a handle or something sticking out of the water, like a pot, like a pan handle
Now
under
that
the
you
water.
say that.
Yeah.
Like the little metal hook is the mouth.
Yep.
Oh, funny.
And the other big picture, the McNabb photo, that's the one with the castle. You can see like the humps in the water.
Yeah.
Researcher Roy Mackle wrote a book about the monster in 1976 and asked McNabb for permission to use his photo. McNabb sent him the original negative, but Mackle noticed that there were a few differences between the negative and the photo that was published everywhere. There was more in the image of the print than there was in the negative, and a tree appeared in the published image that was not there in the negative, so it was pretty obvious that the published photos had been retouched, and it was suspected that the published photograph, instead of being a, photograph, was a photograph of a photograph that had been doctored. So it's believed that that one is a hoax, too. So like the two,
It just looks like logs anyway.
yeah.
I mean,
so like
I can
the two,
see
the
some
two
humps.
big Nessie photos that people go to have both kind of been dismissed as being
Debunked.
edited or retouched or just a flat out hoax.
Right.
So to those.
That one's not all that impressive to begin with, but
And finally, sub-theory C, it just doesn't make logical sense. Assuming it is an animal like a plesiosaur, they were believed to be cold-blooded, and since the average temperature of Loch Ness stays around 5 degrees Celsius, it would be impossible for a creature like that to survive. Plus, unless it had some supernaturally huge long lifespan, you would need a male and a female to keep existing.
right.
And they said if you just kept inbreeding, you'd
have
probably
some-
die off anyway. And if the
You have
creature...
a three-headed monster.
And if the
at some
creature
point.
existed and died in the loch, remains should have been found at some point, or its DNA should have been found in the samples taken. There's just too much that doesn't add up. So finally, before we get to the what do you think, and I really love this, from the historic UK website, quote, in 1975, 4 firemen from Hemel Hempstead decided that the monster must be a male, as all monsters seem to be, so they built a 309-foot-long papier-mâché lady monster to attract Mr. Nessie. It had false eyelashes, full makeup, and gave out a pre-recorded mating call. Unfortunately, that mating call turned out to be that of a male walrus, so not unsurprisingly, it didn't tempt Nessie. It also didn't help that when the lady monster was set afloat, she got damaged when her backside was flattened by the jetty when a sudden wind blew her sideways. The attempt was soon abandoned. So, poor busted
Wow.
Miss Nessie. I can't believe that didn't work.
Yeah, it's shocking.
Yeah. So what do you think? Loch Ness Monster?
I don't think it's a thing. I don't
No.
think it exists.
No. Why?
I just feel like there's no good evidence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also don't.
I've
think,
never
I don't,
really believed in it.
No.
I think it's a fun thing to think about, and
It is, and
it'd be cool if it did.
The
but
area like promotes it because it draws like tourism like you wouldn't believe. So
totally.
they're not going to be the ones to say no, this doesn't really exist. They,
imagine all the merch they
oh, they
through.
sell a ton of merchandise. There's a brewery right there that makes like a Loch Ness Monster beer.
Nice.
So there's just tons of tourism there. But
I think it's a fun idea.
It is a fun idea.
I just don't see enough actual evidence.
No, and I don't either. So I never have thought that Nessie really existed.
I mean, I leave a little % open just because you never know.
No.
There's always a possibility, but
Yeah.
I 98% don't believe it exists.
But then you have to, there's all these witness, and like we said, are all of them misidentification? These people that
there's
saw
my 2%.
These people that saw this thing crossing the road with a sheep in its mouth,
I think that's
did it
different,
exist at one
though.
point, but it doesn't now?
And maybe what that thing was existed, and it just got, pun intended, blown out of proportion over the years into whatever this.
Yeah.
I feel like those are two separate things, though. Whatever this thing is crossing the road is not the same size that Nessie is reported to have been.
But there's still tons of people that go there to look.
I mean, if I were in Scotland, I'd go check it out.
Like I never really wanted to go there until I started researching this, and it looks like a really cool area. Like I would really love to go there, stay at like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
So we're both gonna poo-poo this one.
Yeah.
Gonna give it the groan, the Bigfoot groan.
Ooh. I don't want to say that I'm poo-pooing it, just because I don't know, but I lean towards.
Okay, I do too. But it amazes me how every state has its lake monsters. That every state supposedly has. There's Champ, there's Ogopogo, there's all these ones. There's a couple around here that supposedly have creatures living in them, and it's kind of like. To me, it's kind of like the creatures that live in forests that people don't generally go into a lot. Like if it's a place that you don't go a lot, it's going to be mysterious, and you're going to have this
Lore
archetype
surrounding
that there's
it.
monsters there.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't think that the Loch Ness Monster is a thing. I just really don't.
Yeah.
So
I mostly agree.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm always going to reserve that 2% that, well, I don't really know, but
yeah.
that's like I 98% believe Bigfoot is real. And 2%, well, I don't really know this for sure. So, yeah.
So this is kind
It's
of
the
flip. We think like
opposite.
2% chance that Loch Ness Monster exists, but 98% it doesn't.
Yes.
I could go with that. that. I just have a hard time writing everybody off that sees something, especially these people that see something and don't talk about it.
Right.
So I'm with you on that. I think 2% that it does exist, but 98% no. Hoaxes, misidentification. So cool. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the Loch Ness Monster is a thing? Do you think it's not a thing? Let us know. So now we will do a question.
Do you want me to read a pickle joke while you're looking?
Yeah.
It usually takes you a minute to remember how to get in there.
Yeah, because I usually forget my password.
It doesn't just save it.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it
No.
doesn't.
Oh my gosh. I'm already groaning.
Oh, somebody pointed out that we did a repeat, that we did 2 episodes back to back.
pickle joke?
Yeah, the Jack Pickleson.
Oh, we did
Pickleson?
it twice?
I believe so.
Wow, you'd think I'd remember that one. Okay, why do pickles go with sandwiches?
Why?
Because they're social climbers.
I don't get it.
Neither do I. Okay, I'll do another one. What's white on the outside and green on the inside?
What?
A pickle sandwich.
That's so dumb.
I'm going to read all of these and just turn to the next page, and then I'll know next time that wherever I am is where I am. Why do pickles have wrinkles?
Why?
They worry a lot.
Oh, Lord.
What's the all-time hit song for pickles?
What?
You're not going to come up with it. He's Just My Dill. I feel like I could write a better
I feel like we
pickle
would
joke.
understand this if we were like in the 70s.
Maybe?
Okay, what Hogwarts house? That was like one of the last
Yep.
ones we did.
Last-ish.
This question. What would the world be like if there wasn't any wind, regardless of elevation?
You want me to answer that?
I don't know what to think of that. I don't like that.
Miserable. I think it'd be miserable.
I don't like that. You wouldn't have waves. You wouldn't have sailboats.
Right?
It would just be
Think of
dead.
windmills
It would just
that
like
generate
when
power.
Yesterday I was by Aaron's family's house, and we were in the backyard having a beer.
Think
And we were
of-
in this area where it was completely dead, where there was no wind, and we were just complaining about how awful it was.
Yeah.
It just felt dead and still.
That's why I say miserable, just because we're in the thick of summer right now, and I
Yeah.
can't imagine not having a breeze. But also think of how things are pollinated and like
Yeah.
how vegetation and things like that
El Nino
seed.
and all that stuff. Like would hate it.
Yeah.
I like the wind.
This is so corny, but I love standing outside and feeling the wind in my hair.
Oh, I do too. Not in
And-
your hair, but in my hair.
I love the sound of the wind in the
Yes.
trees,
Yes.
like just from like that perspective.
Like the sound of
and
a
we wouldn't
windy,
know
like
what
being
we
in the
were
woods when it's
missing, but-
windy.
Oh God, yes.
That question kind of like freaks me out because I've never thought of that, and I
No.
don't like it.
What twisted mind came up
I
with
don't
this question?
know. I don't
I mean,
know.
I like it,
It would be
but
miserable.
It
I
would be
I would
miserable
hate
for a
life.
variety of reasons.
Yes,
I
I
think
would-
the world would be just from like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a,
Geographical?
well, or like a scientific perspective. If you're looking at how plants
Yeah.
thrive and things like
Yes.
that, how would birds? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't like it.
no, I don't like it either.
Next.
It's called the end of the world.
Would you ever do a podcast episode on the Alcatraz escape? Yeah, I would totally do one on the Alcatraz
Yeah,
escape.
because there's a mystery there, for sure.
Yes, we will.
Yes, and it's
I will
supposed to
add
be
that-
haunted, so we can
Yes.
touch on that too.
Yeah, I will add that to the list. Next question.
Wow, we're plowing through some questions. We haven't done them in a while,
No.
right? Okay.
This question. Who would you cast to play yourself in Strange Sessions, the movie? Who would play the villain?
Who would play the villain? Who would you cast for you?
I hate saying it because people said that I totally reminded them of the Napoleon Dynamite guy, but not
What?
not as dorky.
No, I don't see that at all. Who would I cast for you? That's a hard one.
That's what she said. That's from watching The
okay.
Office.
Who would you cast for me?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
This is hard.
I want to say Olivia Munn when she had like long dark hair.
But she has like blue eyes.
But she looks kind of like you.
Wow.
I think, in my opinion, like when she
Okay.
had
I
the
mean,
long,
I'm taking it
when
because
she
she's
had
beautiful.
when she had the long dark hair.
Am I thinking of the? No, I'm thinking of the wrong person. Who's Olivia Munn?
She dated Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I'll take it because she's beautiful. Yeah, she's like part Japanese.
I don't think so.
Yes, she is. She's part Asian. Japanese? Her mother. I would have picked Winona Ryder for myself. She's quirky like me. Although I've never gone through a shoplifting phase in my life.
I'm thinking like Olivia Munn when she was back on Attack of the Show. That's, I think.
Didn't she used to be on... Is that about video games?
Yes.
Okay. I remember watching her on whatever
That was
network
just the
that
top of
was.
my head choice for you as Olivia Munn.
I'll take
Who did you
it.
pick for me?
I didn't get that far yet. Shoot. This is tough.
There's that one chubby guy that's
Oh,
in like a lot of the stoner movies.
Chubby guy in the stoner movies. Are you talking about Jonah Hill?
Maybe.
No.
But
He's
I don't
like
know.
short.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
it'd have
I'm
to
not
be
short.
somebody tall.
Who do you think would play
This
me?
is a really hard question. Who would play Kurt? I have a face, but I don't know what his name is. Hold on. He is in a movie that's on Netflix right now called Tao. Netflix. I don't know why this just came to my mind.
I've never really thought who you look like famous-wise. Like I said, Olivia Munn was the first one.
When I was in junior high, and depending on who you are and where you're from, that's like 7th and 8th grade, Beetlejuice had come out recently.
Oh, Gina Davis?
No, people used to walk up to me all the time and say, "You look like that girl from Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder." Like, people would tell me that all the time when I was
Really?
that age. Yes.
Somebody used to tell me when I was younger, I looked like David Hasselhoff.
Don't hassle the Hoff, Kurt.
Hasselhoff.
This is not the movie
I honestly
Oh my
don't know what
God.
celebrity I look like. I really don't. I don't think I look like anybody famous.
Oh, here we are. Oh, what is his name? Just give me that. Sorry.
You got kind of whiny there.
I did.
Name.
No, you got to watch Parks and Rec.
That's on my list after The Office.
Okay. Tom, his name is Ed Screen. You're going to love this, but He often has glasses on. I want to find a picture of him with glasses.
Oh, I could kind of see that.
Yeah. I think he's tall.
He's way more handsome than I am.
Well, Olivia Munn is like... Yeah, see?
Okay, I'll totally take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
We're both much more attractive in our movie version.
Yes.
Oh, so who would play the villain?
All I can think of is the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files, because our villain would be like a government
Trying to shut us down.
And all I can think of is the cigarette smoking man from the X-Files, like the bad guy in the X-Files. Okay. That's all I can think of is like some kind of government, or like the guy
who
from
would be good at that?
with the sunglasses from Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
Like a government-looking type.
Didn't he play Elrond in The Lord of the Rings? He was like the
I think
king
so.
of the elves.
But that's who I see as the villain in the Strange Sessions movie is...
I like him. What is his name, the actor? We'll never come up with this.
I could look it up, but I don't know either.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just at the top. It's at the tip of my tongue.
He'd be a great villain in our movie.
He would be.
Are we in a race right now?
No.
Good, because
Agent Smith is the guy that I'm thinking of.
Okay, I found him.
Hugo Weaving.
Yes.
Yes, Hugo Weaving.
Okay, Hugo Weaving would be our villain.
He would, but
he'd
have the sunglasses and suit on like a government baddie.
And just always have this really
try to
serious
silence
look
us.
on his face.
Yep, he'd be
you
like
can't silence us.
Sitting outside our house, leaning against his car with a cigarette, making sure that we see him watching us.
Actually, it would be totally out of our routine, and we'd be like, we're done.
Yeah, it would be.
So he would silence us immediately.
That is the Strange Sessions movie.
Olivia Munn, Ed Skrein, and Hugo Weaving.
Coming soon to a theater near you. Good question. Good question.
Oh, that's good stuff.
And that's it.
Song.
Oh, what's your song?
My song, okay, it's very rare that I'm going to pick a cover because I generally don't like covers. I always think they're a cheap ripoff of the original.
Covers. One of my favorite songs is a cover, but we'll get to that at a different time.
So this cover, and I think pretty much anyone would agree with me, is way better than the original, but it's Joe Cocker's version of With a Little Help from My Friends.
That is not better than the Beatles.
What?
No.
Oh my God. I can't believe you disagree with me on this.
I like the Beatles. That's Sgt. Pepper is one of my favorite albums.
But Joe Cocker's version,
his version is really good.
So soulful and
but they
like
are two
gut-wrenching.
different. They're so different that they're different versions. But I prefer the Beatles to Joe Cocker's.
Wow. We disagree.
Yeah, we disagree.
I love the Joe Cocker version. And if you grew up on the Wonder Years, it also has this nostalgia.
Yeah. I've never watched the Wonder Years.
What?
No, I've never watched it. I know. Krista's in shock.
I'm learning so many things about you right now.
This podcast is done.
It's so good. You have to watch the Wonder Years.
I've never seen it.
It is so good. You have to watch it.
Yeah. But I don't hate the Joe Cocker version, but I cannot say that it's better than the Beatles version. I just can't.
I do, hands down.
I would be doing a great disservice.
Isn't it Ringo who sings that?
Yeah. Why'd you sneer at Ringo?
He's my least favorite Beatle.
I think he's everybody's least favorite Beatle, but still. My pick, and I could not think of one, and it just popped in my head on the way here because I heard it, it comes from a specific video, and my pick is the song "Listomania" by Phoenix.
Again,
you would
something I've never heard of.
If you heard this song, you would totally
I would know it.
I'm going to play it right now, just so I'll have to edit it out of the podcast so that I don't get sued. Okay, Krista has not heard the song.
We are not.
It was on the radio years ago.
Okay.
I liked Phoenix. Phoenix is one of those bands that you wouldn't think that I would like, but I really like them. The first time I ever heard them was the movie Lost in Translation. They had a song in there called Too Young, and I love that song. But my choice is the song Listomania by Phoenix, and it comes specifically about 10 years ago. It was like a minor thing, and I don't know where this came from. A group of college students in Brooklyn did this thing where they went out and filmed themselves to this song dancing, but dancing like the students in the movie The Breakfast Club from the 80s, where they do this very identifiable like 80s dance.
I can see Molly Ringwald doing it right now.
So they released this video of them called it the Brat Pack mashup, where they're dancing to this song, Brooklyn college students. And then
it does have an 80s feel to it.
And then it became huge where colleges all around the world, people were going out and doing this. Like
fun.
University of Moscow has a video out where they're out dancing Breakfast Club 80s style to this song. And I don't know how I stumbled across it, but college kids in San Francisco did this. And that video is one of my all-time favorite. It's like my happy place video. Like I watch the video a lot. And it's just it's a group of friends just out having fun.
Yeah.
And there's something about the video that I absolutely love, that video.
Are you going to post that?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
going to post that video. It's just these college kids dancing around to this song. And I don't know why I love the video so much, but I do. It's the reason that I'm obsessed with seeing San Francisco. Like, I really want to see San Francisco. It looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just it was a Brat Pack mashup from the college kids in San Francisco. I mean, like I said, there's one I saw France, where college students in France were doing this, and it was a thing for a little while where people were going out and doing this. So
that's really cool.
It is really cool, but there's something about the San Francisco. Like I said, that's my happy place video. Like, if I'm bummed, I watch that video and it just makes me
Lifts
happy.
your spirits,
because it's just a happy video, and
people being happy.
and I love that song because of that video. So I will post that in the Strangers group when we release this episode.
Cool.
So there you go.
Yours is almost always a song I've never heard before.
Yours I generally have heard. You
Yeah.
pick a lot of like classic rock stuff.
Yeah.
Or like weird jam bands.
I haven't done a Fish song yet.
You haven't done a
so-
Fish song yet. So yeah, Listomania and Joe Cockers with a little help from my friends, which
Sweet.
isn't as good as the Beatles, but it is very good.
Way better than the Beatles.
So our deets, you can email us at thestrangesessions@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at Strange Session without the S. Krista does a smack dab bang up job on Instagram at The Strange Sessions. I love that there's so many people that interact with us on Instagram. You can send postcards and snail mail and taste test items.
Which we may or may not do during the episode.
We'll forget about and find it in the closet some year from now. At The Strange Sessions, P.O. Box 434, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, 54221-0434. Our phone number, nobody has called for a while. It's lonely, and call it so it doesn't call me and have this weird hiss or like a weird crackling
noise.
sound at 920-443-9602. I'll probably have night terrors about that tonight
Probably.
now. So yeah.
And also, thank you to everyone.
Thank
for
you
these
to everyone for the
amazing-
stuff you sent.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was just like shaking my little owl and watching the googly eyes. Saw Mindy.
Yeah, I don't
Stephanie.
blame them for not being on Facebook, but I wish they were. The
I know,
Strangers.
right? Yeah.
Stephanie and Coleman, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Stephanie, my God, thank you for all the Missing 411 books. I was not going to lie. I was stressed that people kind of need us to do so many people find us through the
Yep.
Missing 411
That's
stuff.
the number one reason that people find
And
us.
I was desperately afraid that we were running out of things. And now I have the
think
9-book.
we're good.
I have the 9-book series. We have the map, which floors me.
Yeah.
Years ago, I toyed with the idea of buying the whole series, but with the money situation and all that. So, Stephanie, I love you. Thank you. And from the Old School Media Studio, until next time, stay strange.
This has been an Old School Media production, executive produced by Kurt Konechny. For more information and content, please visit strangesessions.com.